at Katie First Lady, who says, who would have thought that both Rey Mysterio and The Rock's kids would have been so emo? Hashtag tweet the table. So yeah, we got Ava
Raine. Which made, I will say this, it made mainstream attention.
Yes.
TMZ's talking about it. USA Today is talking about it.
I just hate I know when we say, well, I didn't want to use my famous pro wrestling heritage family's name, right, whatever it is, because I wanted to make a name for myself. So it's not, Sarah Johnson, whatever her name is, right? It's not The Rock's daughter. It's Ava Raine. But if we go, it's Ava Raine, The Rock's daughter, well, then we just did that. So why don't we just say it's The Rock's daughter? You know what I mean? Like, The Rock's daughter wouldn't be named with the last name of the Raine.
The only thing I will give them the benefit of the doubt on, and I don't know anything about that segment. Like, I saw it, but it looks like it's a cult, right?
It is. It's like a weird, he's a schism is what they call it.
Okay, so Joe Gacy, who was awesome in Evolve. I loved Joe Gacy in Evolve.
Yeah.
Is he? Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's the same kind of shtick where he's like, well, with this shtick, he's a cult leader, crazy. And I mean, he's good at what he does. So he's pulling it off well.
Hold on. Pause. We've got another cult in WWE.
I mean, yeah. This is more of your like Koresh type cults where it's like gaslighting into doing my dirty work, but you think it's for some kind of weird good cause kind of thing. From the, again, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't fact check. I don't watch NXT week in and week out, but I've tuned in a couple times over the last several weeks, and that's the feel I get from this. And he's, it's one of those like, it's schism, right? The schism is out to get you. I don't even fucking, it's.
So,
but this is what we're going to talk about, because Katie said, who would have thought they're so emo, right? Because that's what she's in. She's in this cult, it's emo group. And yeah, Rey Mysterio's Dominic. He's in the Judgment Day and he's emo. This is kind of what we've warned you about Triple H. We called it spooky or leather and stuff, but you could roll all of that into emo, right? Karrion Kross, Bray Wyatt. We've got Nikki Cross coming back as crazy Nikki Cross. It may not be chains and leather, Sanity. Crazy Nikki Cross, but it's a little adjacent. Something's not right. Hey, look, fuck. All these emo. By the way, every emo person is, I think they want to be what Randy Orton. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying this. They want to be what Randy Orton is, right? Like, little bit dark, little bit mysterious, probably like some snakes, right? We've heard that about Randy Orton, like, but he's charismatic and cool, and thereby you're kind of drawn to what's the mysterious parts, right? Like, you're so cool, like, right? Like, what, you're into snakes? That's weird, right? But when you're not 6 foot fucking 14 like Randy Orton and look like a fucking statue, the snakes and the sad broodingness is not cool, right? He makes it cool because he's Randy Orton. You make it weird because you fucking hang out under the steps with the other dorks and you dye your hair purple. Yeah,
Randy Orton gets it to where people are doing op-eds on him in like the New York Times. When you do it, you're getting the cops called on you for domestic disturbance.
You got real scared when I was about to categorize every emo person.
You're like, every emo, okay.
You're like, oh, this is him. Here? This is Tim saying this. This is not me.
But here's what I'll say is yes, right? The Karrion Kross, who's feuding with Miz? Who's the guy?
Oh, Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, so you got Karrion Kross, Dexter Lumis, Bray Wyatt, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross. And this is what I will say. And maybe I'm an apologist for AEW. Whatever. I like it. It's my favorite show. But we love to say, what's with all these factions in AEW? Well, I'll tell you this. It's more believable for me to think that wrestlers have friends than that everyone's a fucking cult leader. Like of the two things, I'm gonna pick wrestlers have friends.
Friends versus
Waco,
leading
Texas.
a strange cult. Yeah, and I do want to give credit to WWE in this, in kind of what we derided folks earlier with the Bray Wyatt situation and what we hope does not happen with the Young Bucks All Elite thing, is we got Johnny Gargano and The Miz saying, Johnny Gargano's back saying like, hey, all you got to do is do the thing. And Miz is like, all right, goddammit, you said that, but like, what is it? What is it you think you know? And he's like, I don't think I know. You know what it is. You know what it is. And then he's like, no, like, tell me. Later, whatever happens, Candice LeRae gets injured by damage control, so Miz gives him a card. He's like, hey. He's like trying to buddy up to him now, right? Like, tell me what you know, right? And he's like, sorry, we saw what happened. Maurice and I got this get well card for Candace. Like, sorry, buddy, you know? And he's like, all right. And he's like, maybe we can talk this out later. And he's like, it's not going to work, Miz. You just got to be honest. He opens the card and he's like, it's fucking empty. He's like, you didn't even fucking sign it. He's like, you're rich. Put money in this fucking, like, you know? And he's like, listen, if you don't fucking tell the truth, I'm telling the truth next week, right? This is how you do it, right? We got 1 week saying, tell the truth. And he's like, fuck you, what's the truth? Next week, he's like, fuck you, what's the truth? He's like, you know what the truth is. No, I don't. All right, well then fuck you. I'm telling it next week, right? We got one thing 1 week. We got the next thing next week. Next week, I'm assuming we're getting the fucking truth, right? Like, so I want to commend them for that, right?
Yeah.
I want to shit on them all times.
I will play devil's advocate here and say, you know who's not saying these things? Dexter Lumis.
Dexter Lumis, yeah. That's the problem with this Dexter Lumis character. I like the whatever, but it almost feels like the Dexter Lumis character should be used by somebody to further
if Johnny
them.
Gargano is going to say, this is my buddy, he doesn't talk, okay, right? Then you got like you could even go comedy and do like a Jay and Silent Bob kind of thing, right?
100%.
But we had 5 weeks, 6 weeks of this guy fucking breaking into Mrs. house where he has kids.
Or hear me out. You've got Spooky Karrion Kross. So maybe he's got spooky Dexter Lumis taking people out for him on the side, right? Like kind of what you said. Not everybody's a cult leader, but like Dexter Lumis feels like a guy who would be in a cult, right? Like being led by a guy in a cult. So if you're going to have some cults, let's put him in a cult. Like it just, I will get you. It's not perfect. But I want to commend them on that as an example of what we would like in these other storylines, the Bray Wyatts.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
but to go back to the Rock's daughter, the reason why I'm okay with Ava Raine is because if she's in a cult, it would make sense that she's like, I don't like my name. I'm not a Johnson. I'm not the Rock's daughter. I'm Ava Raine.